Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof!
G'day, legends. How the bloody hell are you all going? It's Dry That Aussie Metal Guy here with Crank.com and with that metalstation.com. So today, tonight, wherever you are in the world, it's with great pleasure that I'm getting to have a chat with Karl And Sham of Nothing Sacred, who are due to drop their Leviathan EP February 3rd through Rockshots Records. 3 decades of thrash, still going strong. To follow up, No Gods, which hit number 4 on the Australian iTunes metal charts. Cheers, guys, for joining me.
Well done.
How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm very excited to chat with you guys, man. But for the uninitiated, man, can you give us a little bit of a fucking brief history? Because you guys have been around for like quite a while. You come out strong with that Death Wish EP back in the 80s, followed it up with Let Us Pray and that as well.
Go for it, Karl.
Yeah, well, actually, you've already covered most of the ground. You've said all the exciting bits already. We started in the early 80s, and we came out of maybe that, in the Wobbum phase that was raging in England when bands like Iron Maiden and Motorhead were getting started, and we were listening to that stuff, and we were wanting to play our own sort of style, but in that sort of heavy music style. So we weren't interested in being an Aussie pub band. We didn't want to sound like Rose Tattoo. Not that there's anything wrong with Rose Tattoo, but we didn't want to sound like AC/DC or Rose Tattoo. We wanted to be, more metal. We wanted to be that. And that's where we started, kicked off about 82, 83. And, we've just been plowing away ever since, off and on.
I don't think we ever sort of tried to sound like it. I don't think we were good enough. Like, we never really thought of trying to play like a band we liked. We just wrote songs, and if people liked them, it was awesome. They didn't. It wasn't thought about.
Yeah, so when you first started back then, did you see yourself still going strong with like Nothing Sacred, even though you kind of had that break in between? You were with Hobbs, Angel of, this unreal, man, band over there as well. So,
the Hobbs Angel of Death thing. With that one, we got asked to help Hobbsy record his demo when he was trying to launch his new direction with Angel of Death, where he wanted to go. So we were happy to do that, and the demo went really well, and the German label wanted to go with him, and he came back to us and said, so do you guys want to come to Germany with me and start getting this project off the ground? And Sham and I both said no.
He wanted us to join and stop what we were doing as well.
Yeah.
We had to give up Nothing Sacred and do Hobbs, and neither of us really wanted to do it.
Yeah, no, we thought what we were doing at the time, we wanted to stick with it, so we turned him down. So it's just the way life goes. So we did the demo, but we took that no further. But
exactly. And in 2012, the band kind of reformed after a hiatus for a very long time as well.
That was actually for a birthday party. That was from John Giles and Ross Percy from.
That's right. Yeah, they wanted to celebrate. I think, was it a 50th birthday, Sham? Something like that. It was a milestone birthday for somebody so they talked us into it. So yeah, we couldn't use the original guitarists, not both of them, because Buddy had long since moved to America. He's been living in America for well over a decade now, I think. So he was not an option. But we got Wooly back, and then we got Ross to come in and help out, and so yeah, it was good to sort of dust things off and have a good bash that night. And I think it just gave us some enthusiasm to finally start moving again. I think it was a good trigger anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then around 2015, you were kind of had a lot of shows up there. You played the Steel Assassins Festival in Sydney, which is an absolute ripper show as well.
We haven't really played a great deal since we went back. We've done stuff, but we haven't. Mainly just festivals and things, and Metal for Melbourne.
Yep.
Steel Assassins was the chance to get back to Sydney. I mean, we'd been up to Sydney. Actually, I think the last time we'd been in Sydney before that was actually with Hobbs when he was in Tyrus. We toured, the two bands toured together. I think that was probably the time we'd been there before Steel Assassins. It goes back
86 or 87.
Yeah, it was a long time. So I was pretty excited to get back to Sydney. So it's a good city to visit.
And then it would have been good for you guys also, not only to get to that festival, but to see, like, you know, you've been around since the 80s, to see fans from back then still going fucking strong for Nothing Sacred, and also seeing these younger metalheads come up through, you know, the scene as well, and getting a chance to hear you guys and really going, fuck, where have I been? I've got to go back and check out Nothing Sacred.
It was good fun going to Utopia. I hadn't been there since the 80s.
Yeah, no, that was a good weekend. We really enjoyed playing. I mean, I don't think we actually played our best gig ever. We it was good. Yeah, we'd played a few gigs before that during the year, but I can't remember. It was a hot night and all that stuff. We played okay. I mean, I think we played better than we played at Steel Assassins, but it was still good to get back on stage and go crazy. You know? But yeah, that's the way it goes.
And so jump forward to the No Gods album. Tell me a little bit about that time, because that one come out in 2021, and that was your first official album in like 30 years, and it got some really good feedback here in Australia. I know myself, I was like, fuck yeah, cranked the hell out of it and really enjoyed it as well. So what was that time like for you guys?
It was a COVID thing, really, wasn't it, Karl?
Yeah.
Because everything, which COVID for us was perfect because we'd slowed down. We've had this thing where we've been trying to record. We started recording that album. I did all the drum tracks for it in 2015, right at the end of 2015, and we just had this really bad run. I think most of the album was different. We had all these other songs that we'd recorded that never made it onto the No Gods album. When we got to that, we decided we had a whole pile of other new material, so we just sort of ran with that in the end. But we've had this whole Nothing Sacred curse where we try and record and it just wouldn't happen. Something to get in the way. There's always something that got in the way. And then we decided to do a single through Rue Morgue, and we just saw it like if we could break the ice with that, just get that one thing out. And as soon as we got something out, we'd be laughing, and we did. Once we got that out, we just sort of ran with the ball, did a whole album. Once we finished the album, we just started again. Just thought, let's record something, just write some more material and record more, you know? So it definitely got rid of the dry patch.
Yeah, exactly. And we're talking about the latest EP, which is the Leviathan one, and a couple of new tracks on there as well. Can you tell us about the first one, Leviathan?
Those tracks we wrote, it was hard for us to get together, for one, to write because of COVID and stuff. So we'd pretty much write a track a rehearsal. So we just get together and write a song and then go off and come back and write another song. We've done the same since we finished Leviathan. We've already started writing, recording again. So we've got the next stuff that sort of started. And then we just thought, like, why don't we do, because there were songs I really wanted to do. I really wanted to do Sir Megma. I thought it was one of those songs we just never really got to see the light of day properly. And the Let Us Pray album just sounded terrible, you know. So it was good to try do these songs again. And there's Sudden Death, which we recorded for Let Us Pray, but we never put it on the album. We never put vocals over it. So we thought, like, let's just bang some other songs out. And I love Guardian, just one of those songs, got a really nice groove to it. So we just threw those tracks in there as well, just to have more songs and not spend too long to get it out, you know, just try to get it out as quickly as we could. So we can just keep things moving.
Yeah, well, can you tell me a little bit about the second track on it, Drone, then? Because it kind of like the tracks you mentioning, Guardian, Sir Megma, Sudden Death, they kind of all have a theme and kind of sit in together from that opening one up until the others.
Drone and Leviathan were both musically, like Stuart Bedford had a lot to do with it because he missed out on getting to write really far the No Gods album because we'd already written the material. So he just needed to play on it. So, and he had all of these ideas that were great. And we just thought, like, with the No Gods album, myself personally, I wanted to make sure each song was different. Like, we weren't just like doing, you know, so there's like a Motorheady song and there's sort of bits of groove and bits, I wouldn't call it thrash, but faster songs. Because Stu missed out we thought like, and he had a whole pile of riffs that we really liked. That we thought, oh, let's just get together and we'll just start on those. Like, let him get on board of it.
Yeah, definitely. And that it was good to see that sudden death track come out, because I know you've been playing it around for a while as well. It must have been great to kind of get that one on
Since
there.
about 84.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little tacker. I was 4 years old then, so I didn't even get a chance to mosh out to any of that, dude.
Oh, well, it's made it now.
Yeah, so what's the plans for playing live? You guys got anything planned for playing live? Are you just concentrating on getting some more material out and working on the next album, and then seeing where that goes?
Do you want this one, Karl?
Yeah, look, it's kind of hard at the moment. I mean, we get offered occasionally to play here or there, but we're just not ready yet to play because we haven't been in a solid groove of rehearsals and stuff. So when we're ready to play, we're going to have to really focus down and just make sure we get everything up to the level we want it to be. So we're going to have to start putting in some work and all that. And at the moment, we rehearse in a fairly irregular pattern. So that works okay for songwriting, but it doesn't work so good for getting up to, being able to play a 1 hour set and deliver it the way we'd want to. So it's a bit chicken and the egg. We need to rehearse before we can gig, and we need to get offered some solid gigs to get the rehearsal pattern setting. So which happens first? We just haven't quite sorted that yet. So I think this year will be the difference. I mean, also COVID again, although it hasn't been anywhere near as bad as it was in 20 with the lockdowns and stuff, but it still has slowed things down. People have got sick, and I had COVID in about July or something, and so it has still been disruptive and caused minor interruptions through 2022. So I think 2023 is where we'll probably really focus on trying to get back into stage ready, or whatever you want to call it, and then we can start seriously looking at gigs again. We've had offers to go back to Japan like we did in 2015, and they're still open. The offers haven't been accepted and they haven't been withdrawn either. So, but we just haven't committed to it yet because there's a number of things we need to sort out before we can make that happen. So I think that there's a strong. Sorry,
been bouncing singers around.
Well, yeah, the singer dramas have also one of our recurring patterns, and I don't believe it's. I mean, Sham calls it the curse, the nothing sacred curse, because I think it feels very random. It doesn't appear to have much logic behind it, but we've had a bit of a revolving door in the band, full stop. I mean, Sham and I and George been pretty constant, but we've had a couple of different guitarists. Stu's now joined, and the singers have been a bit of a revolving door. So those things have also slowed us down, because as soon as you start to get somewhere and then you have a lineup change, then you kind of got to go back and start again. But things have really stabilized at the moment. Things feel pretty stable. Things have coming together. COVID's fading into the background. Venues are starting to be packed again. Bands are playing. International bands are starting to come. I think this is the year in which we'll probably look at changing up the live playing situation and start getting something. But yeah, that's very general, and there's nothing specific in mind at the moment.
Yep, and we were mentioning the singer lineup change there. We did have Chris Stark come back on vocals as well, which is, it's pretty cool to get him back. He's got a really great voice as well, and it just kind of set really well, and it gives you a chance to kind of come back and do these Guardian and the Sir Magma and Sudden Death as well.
Yeah, and plus we need to teach Chris the No Gods album.
Yeah.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, he knows like maybe two of them.
Yeah, he's got a bit of learning to do. True.
So those were pretty cool film clips as well you managed to do for both of those new singles as well. Where did you film them?
We filmed them at a place called the Meat Market. And is it South Melbourne, North Melbourne?
North Melbourne, yeah.
Awesome looking place. I'd been there ages ago, and it was one of those places I just always wanted to film in. And I just thought it'd look good, for a clip. So we just sort of ummed and ahed and looked around, and we needed somewhere different, and we wanted to shoot both of them in the same day. So it was like the perfect place to do it. It is an awesome joint.
It was an awesome joint, dude. I had to ask about that because it looked like something like that as well. And I've only been over to Melbourne once, but I definitely would be going down to check that out as well. It looks cool as fuck, man. A really good place to film. The sound would have must have been really good, eh?
Yeah. Well, they had a PA system in there. So obviously we had to mime to it. We had to make
sure
everything was loud enough. But we just
take over the PA.
Yeah, we put my phone through the PA.
Hey, it would have at least been a good experience to do that. Go like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was.
I really enjoyed it. It was great playing there. We got off to a bit of a slow start at the start of the day, so we started to run out of light towards the end of the day. So we were rushing a little bit, but I don't think it shows up. I mean, I think the clips. Sham did the editing and everything. Sham does. He's our video editing expert. And yeah, it's a great job. And I don't think there's no sense in the second clip that we were rushing a little, which we were because the light was starting to fade. We wanted to use the natural light coming through the windows, the sun. We didn't really want to try and light it with spotlights or anything. And so yeah, we had to kind of rush the last half hour and get it in before dusk. But yeah, it came out really good. Really happy with both clips.
Yeah, they both did come out really good. And I did mention this album comes out, EP, comes out February 3rd through Rockshots Records. There is physicals and there is pre-orders up. Must be good working with these guys too, eh?
Rockshots?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been great. Really.
Yeah, nice. I'll put in links for everyone to go chuck pre-orders in for that. You've also got Bandcamp as well, and you can stream it on all those fucking places as well.
Yeah, we've got all that. I mean, we run the Bandcamp ourselves, obviously, and that's just, through the label they do most of the work for production and distribution overseas. And they do a fantastic job, and we're really happy to be working with them again. We were happy that they actually wanted to work with us again, so that was a positive. But yeah, so the Bandcamp is just a chance. We've got some leftover T-shirts from previous tours. We got Sham unearthed a box of the original EP from the 1985 pressings. So we have a few original vinyls still left. So we're selling those through the Bandcamp, stuff like that, So that's whatever that is, 38 years old.
Yeah, I shared the link earlier on because I've been over sussing out. I'm a fan of places like that as well as, buying the physicals because, everything seems to be digital these days. So to be able to buy a physical CD and put it in my CD player or buy the vinyl, it's still something I really fucking treasure being able to do.
Well, the other thing on the Bandcamp is that and Sham was heavily involved in putting this together was the box set.
Yeah.
So it's a CD because it was too expensive to try and think about doing it on vinyl, but it's a triple CD, isn't it? Oh, no, double CD and a DVD.
CD and a DVD. So it's just Live in Osaka DVD, and then the two CDs are, one of them has got a lot of pre-Nothing Sacred stuff. So stuff we've done there as a band, me and Karl did, like 1984, I think it was, called NCM, which is just like a piss take thrash sort of thing. Like I just found all this old material, found a Nothing Sacred rehearsal where there's like a 13-minute track we never released that we'd wrote, just grabbed it all, just found all this really weird old stuff and just put it all together and stuck it in. Then we found the Death Wish EP. We had the master tapes of that extracted and found alternate versions of each song. So we recorded each song twice. And so we grabbed the other versions of the songs and mixed them. There we
go.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Your young little faces there, man. Unfucking real, dude. Blast from the cars. Looking at that. That's cool as fuck.
We haven't changed a bit.
Not a bit at all.
No.
Still rocking hard and better than bloody ever as well. Karl, did you want to pick a track for me to crank up off of this EP, man, that you're really digging?
Well, look, the good thing about this EP is that I like all the tracks. I mean, like Sham was saying, that some of the older tracks we were really disappointed with the album in hindsight. Yeah. I mean, that's what happens back in 1987 when you've got 4 days to record an album. So we did the whole album in 4 days, including the mixing and mastering. So it's pretty rushed and pretty rough. So we were really happy to try and rescue a couple of tracks and give them new life. So I love the tracks. I love all the tracks. The track that I really like is Leviathan to play. I just like it's one of those groovier. It's got a nice groove to it. It bounces along. I like playing that one. It's really fun to play. But yeah, there are no bad tracks on the album. Everyone should buy it. It's excellent.
No, I've been cranking the hell out of it, dude.
Go Karl.
Sham, pick a track for us, my friend.
Mate, all right, Guardian. Just because no one's ever picked that. I don't think anyone's even heard that one yet. So if you got it, that one.
Yeah, killer. Guys, look, I'm also going to ask what guitars and drums are you using at the moment?
Drums, I still have the same drum kit I've had since 1984, 85.
Wow, man, the memories, bro. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's my only drum kit.
That's awesome.
So I've never bothered. It's caked in rust, rusty. And that's it. Like I've only ever owned, I think, really 2 drum kits in my whole life.
There you go.
So yeah, this one, I've had since way back then. Since I got it just after we did the Death Wish EP.
Nice. So
and that works out really well because Sham himself is covered in rust as well. So it's a good balance. I actually, for this recording, because when we were doing No Gods, I had some trouble with the tuning. The bass I was using it wasn't out of tune. It just wouldn't hold its tuning very well. So Sham was doing a lot of the engineering, and I was driving him mad with recordings, tracks, and sending through to him and coming over and stuff. And then everything would just be this tiny little tuning problems, and we'd redo it, and we'd fix one bit and something else would be wrong. And so we got there in the end and everything was fine, but it was just way too much trouble and stress. So for this recording, I thought I need a new bass. So I actually went out and bought myself a Dingwall, which is a brand I was not really aware of until I did a little bit of research. And it's a beautiful bass, and I love it, and it's got a fantastic sound, and it's definitely the best bass I've ever played.
It's about time.
Yeah, that's right. So and this one seemed to have stayed in tune, which was really was the whole point. so yeah, I'm very happy. It was a good decision to go out and get a new piece of gear. It really has solved problems, and it's also just a pleasure to play. So I'm very happy with that one. And the other bass I've got, I've had three main basses, but the other one is the one I had when I first joined the band back in 1982. So that one's a little bit older.
Nice.
Yeah, Stu's very Jackson orientated. Like he's just absolute 90s metalhead, And George mainly uses a Les Paul.
Okay.
I think to record with like an old Gibson Sunburst Les Paul.
Killer. Nice. Okay, guys, that's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. You got to go out, grab the Leviathan EP. It does drop February 3rd through Rockshots Records, but you can also head over, as I mentioned, and grab all their bloody music as well. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else I may have forgotten you want to add in there, my friends?
Well, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's really good to talk to you, man. And look, thank you for the support. I mean, we appreciate it. I mean, the industry it's a tough industry at the best of times, and we really appreciate the fact that anyone's prepared to give us the time to have a listen, and hopefully they find something they like, because we like it. We wouldn't do it if we didn't, but hopefully people like it as well.
Oh, I definitely love it, mate. A lot of people will be cranking the hell out of this. Nothing sacred, still fucking rules. Crank it loud. Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.